Hope you had a good week. This year is dedicated to Rachalea Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi, as always, Shbi Le'ili Nishmata. First question. I live in a small, out-of-town community and do a lot of work for my community. For instance, I'm the head of a committee that raises money for my children's day school. I organize Women's Shiurim on Shabbat, where we sometimes have up to 70 women who wouldn't learn otherwise. And I'm in charge of a committee that's forming a high school in our community. I also have 2 children, 8 and 9. I'm a physician, and I'm primarily responsible for my mother, who has Alzheimer's and lives around the corner from us. I've tried to find replacements for the high school committee and for other work that I do. I try to learn B'Chavruta 3 times a week and find that I'm compromising on everything and not doing anything great at anything. My question is, how do I prioritize what I do? I know that my obligation is to my husband and children and mother, but I feel as though I'm drowning in all the rest. Well, first of all, Yasher Kochech. What a marvelous woman you are. I hope that you step back and see that once in a while. I think you're doing marvelously. I don't think you have to do great at anything. I think that if you're in a place where, as you write, I'm assuming that what you write is accurate, that there's nobody to replace you, then Hashem doesn't need these jobs done perfectly. In terms of prioritizing, as you know, your obligation are to your husband, children, and mother first. In terms of the other responsibilities, what I would say is that raising money for your children's day school is important because, again, your children are there. So the basic rule of access that one has is always that what's within one's closest access comes before other things. So I would put that as number 1. In terms of your Women's Shiurim on Shabbat, where you sometimes have up to 70 women who wouldn't learn otherwise, it's hard for me to believe that of the 70 women, that they can't organize it on a rotating basis. I could understand that nobody wants to take it over, but if you could find 4 women who'll take over the organization of it on a rotating basis, and consult with you when they have problems, no speaker, this and that, then that would take some of it off you. Okay. Now the committee that's forming a high school, I would have to say, is not first or second on your responsibility list, since you have as yet no children in high school. Obviously the rejoinder here would be, but you want to have a high school functioning by the time you do. But I don't know if you're the only one who could organize this, the only one who could take charge of the committee. I would suggest that, again, you try to get the other committee members to rotate responsibility. Okay. Now, in terms of your medical practice, I don't know to what degree. I don't know how many hours a week you work. I don't know whether it's practical to cut down anything there in terms of your financial obligations. But you're not obligated to be a doctor. The other things are closer to what you're obligated to. However, if your position is the sort that you can't cut down, or that you need the money badly financially, then that has to stay on the list. Okay. So you wrote that you've tried to find replacements. I think that you have to try harder. I think if the people realize that they don't have options other than to find people who could rotate between themselves what you do all alone, that they would do it. Now, learning B'Chavruta 3 times a week, what I would suggest strongly, since you obviously need this for your own spiritual nurture, and you're also a person, would be nonetheless to reduce it to 2 a week if you feel that the stress makes the Chavruta learning not worth it. If that isn't your feeling, or if you're learning with different people, different subjects, which is also possible, I don't know what you're learning, rather than following up the same inyanim with the same person, I would suggest that one of the inyanim at least, let's say you learn halacha once a week, I'm giving you this as an example, that you replace with something that you could do online, such as Eish HaTorah's Pathways program, which is excellent for halacha, brachas, for Shabbos, because that way you could fit it in instead of you fitting everything else around it. Okay, but as I said, if your bottom line is that your concern isn't that you're stressed, and you don't sound stressed, but that nothing is being done perfectly, that you're not great at anything, don't be great, and may Hashem give you continued koach to keep on not being great ad mea ve'esrim. Okay, as a wife and mother, how do I stop myself from falling to the trap of only dwelling on and speaking about the superficial aspects of my very physical life? I know intellectually that my role is to be a wife and mother, but I often get stuck in the shallow aspects of it, especially with other mothers in the park or in that kind of setting. I end up feeling very empty and shallow. I try to listen to at least one shiur a day. I'm involved with different self-growth groups, and I'm involved in different chasadim. But when I'm not busy and have free time, I feel that I